boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.
Okay, let's start with the poll. After seeing the press conference, which confirms Ben Whittaker versus Liam Cameron 2 on April the 20th. Basic poll, who wins? 186 votes so far. 45% say Ben Whittaker, 55% Liam Cameron. Ben Whittaker was eating his pasta during the press conference, which seemed to really P-I-double-S off some of the fans in the comment sections in the videos. Really peed them off. And Liam Cameron, he was talking about he's got so much of Ben Whittaker, new hairline, new career. He said Whittaker can't punch, and he even admitted that he's going to use illegal tactics. He's going to throw that right hand to the back of his head, rabbit punch. He admitted he's going to do it. He said he didn't like it last time. So he's going to rough him up, put the pressure on. Whittaker spoke to Matthew Macklin and Johnny Nelson. And Macklin was saying he didn't look right pre-fight, that he saw him training pre-fight, overexerting himself in the week of the fight when he shouldn't have been. And Whittaker kind of played it down, saying he's not going to make no excuses. But then he ad-libs on what Macklin said and divulges that he didn't realize he had to do so much media as to give us another reason why he wasn't 100 for the fight. Ben Shalom's pulled it off. It's a big fight. I understand the sentiment that the poll is reflecting, but I'm going to go against it and pick Ben Whittaker. Not to dazzle, not to look spectacular, but to get the W. A points win. But I have my doubts that he can get to the very top. I do.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.
The first time they ever came at me, which they said I will fight Devin. And then when he was saying, like, Devin was his guy. So I'm like, if Devin your guy, y'all gotta pay me now.
Right.
Extra. Like, cause I already know what I'm coming over there. You feel me? I gotta get the knockout. If not, y'all gonna give it to him. So that's what made me like, oh yeah, I see what's going on.
Tank's commercial appeal is on a different level to Devin's, because he scores knockouts. Turkey wants to develop stars out there. Tank has more star appeal than Devin. I guarantee Tank this. If he was to fight on a RIYADH season card, I don't see Devin being Turkey's guy over Tank. I don't see it. Unless Devin turned him over. I don't believe Tank just started disliking Turkey al-Sheikh. I think there's people in his ear telling him stuff that you'll get robbed on the scorecards because he doesn't like you. But what's that evidence based on? They said that Turkey was favouring Tyson Fury over Usyk. Usyk got both verdicts, didn't he? There were theories that Usyk would get stitched up on the scorecards because they want to make a big Anthony Joshua-Tyson Fury fight. If Tank is telling us the reason he turned down a Devin Haney fight is because Turkey said Devin's his guy, sounds misguided. Maybe Leonard Ellaby told him that, and people at the PBC told him that. Now, there's people saying that he's ducking Devin. I don't know about that. Badly advised, perhaps, with those with ulterior motives.
So now, give me 2 or 3 Ferraris. If not, ain't no point in me going over there for.
If that's the reason fights like Tank and Devin were not made, it's no wonder American boxing is going through its worst period I've seen since I've been an active supporter of boxing. Has Tank actually had a personal conversation with Turkey? Or has he been poisoned against doing that by the people around him? If you're going to ask for the 2 or 3 Ferraris, ask for it in private. You can't talk like that to a grown man in the public domain and expect to get results. But perhaps Tank doesn't need the Saudi money, although he made a big deal about him not getting an invite to the Ring Magazine Awards. And he keeps bringing up Turkey, how he's bad for boxing and how he doesn't need RIYADH season, how everyone's selling out. Why is he against everyone making their money there? Is he a hater?
After next year, I'm out of it.
After our second fight, you're out of it?
Yeah.
Care to elaborate on that?
Out of the sport, out of the sport, out of the sport.
How old would Tank be next year? 31? That's relatively young to retire from the sport. Many have tried and failed. We spoke about it yesterday. Let's see how Tank fares if he announces his retirement in 2026. There's also rumour that Al Heyman will be making an exit around the time that Tank gets out of the boxing game.
I listened to Gervonta Davis on the Safe Place podcast, paraphrasing him. He said that when it came to deal with Turki Sheikh for Riyadh season, he said they came at me the wrong way for the Devon fight. He felt like Devon was their guy, and he felt that off the back of that, he had to be paid extra. Otherwise, he felt he wouldn't get the decision, had to go for the KO. Your reaction?
Yeah. Some people take bad advice, and some people think there's an agenda against them. Like the guy's trying to give you more money than you've ever dreamed of. Take it. But fight Shakur instead. Best fight in boxing.
The other thing he said was he felt that there was putting people around it that don't really know boxing. They're getting paid just to be there. Do you feel like that people aren't in the right positions?
No, I think we're seeing the best fights we've ever seen in boxing. And the only person that doesn't seem to want to be a part of it is Gervonta Davis. Canelo does, Terence Crawford does, Usyk does, AJ does, Fury does. What's with the whole, yeah, I'm not going over there? Well, do us a favour, turn the lights out when we leave, please.
Gervonta sounds paranoid, and he was smoking what looked like a spliff the other day. It could be the onset of psychosis. 'Cause he sounds paranoid. I mean, who's not there? Golden Boy, Top Rank. Even PBC fighters have been there. Eddie Hearn, Bob Arum, Frank Warren, Deontay Wilder, Canelo. Inoue signed a deal. Crawford, Beterbiev, Bivol, Usyk. Pound for pound ranked fighters. The top platforms, the top promoters, all there. Even with the Ring magazine invite saying, why didn't everybody get an invite? Well, they couldn't invite everybody. But if he wanted to be there, he could have been there.
Boxing. Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.
Joe Gallagher, he's been diagnosed with stage 4 bowel and liver cancer. He's currently going through chemotherapy. He said he wants to keep things as normal as possible. And obviously it's difficult for him to process this, for his family to process it all. He's 56 years of age. I wish him a speedy recovery. Not going to pretend he's my favourite person in the industry. He's a bit whingy. But he's whingy when he's standing up for his fighter. You know what I mean? He's took the likes of Liam Smith, Scott Quigg, Anthony Crolla, Natasha Jonas to world titles. He's won the Boxing News Best Trainer Award 2015 and 2018. I wish him a speedy recovery. Chemotherapy is heavy. It's heavy duty. Will he be prepping and working the corners for Lawrence Okoli and Natasha Jonas for their upcoming fights? Not so sure.
Boxing. Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.
Top Rank released a statement on social media reacting to the box of watermelons and bananas that room service sent to their fighter, KESHAWN Davis, before his final press conference with WBO lightweight champion Dennis BERINCHYK on Wednesday. The promotional company said they are appalled and disgusted by whoever sent the package to Davis. 12-0, 8 inside the distance. They added that this stuff doesn't belong in sports and they support KESHAWN. Second Top Rank card in New York, where we've had these crazy incidents. Look what happened to Sandy Ryan when she fought Michaela Mayor at the MSG last year. And now this. Like somebody was saying in Twitter, they delivered it to KESHAWN's room in a hotel. There must be security there. What, they're just random incidents where you're throwing paint all over Sandy Ryan as she's leaving to go to the arena. And someone just decided to send KESHAWN that package with no motive. KESHAWN Davis, he wrote, Dennis BERINCHYK and his team sent this to my room. I never thought bro was racist and this fight has just got a little more personal. BERINCHYK and his team denied any knowledge of the package. The incident was raised in a press conference previewing Friday's fight with Davis, again alleging his opponent was responsible. The package came with a message, here's a snack for all those height jumps. Stay energized. 4102 business WOM. Obviously, BERINCHYK is denying he sent it, but if he or a member of his team didn't send it, who did? If it was them, I'm not saying it is, they could be trying to get under KESHAWN's skin, get him out of character. I think this is a very tough fight. A lot of people think that KESHAWN is just going to walk through him. But BERINCHYK is a way better technical boxer than KESHAWN's last opponent. And BERINCHYK can fight inside and box. He showed that against Navarrete. It's a difficult fight. Teofimo Lopez's name has been brought into it now, and we know he does a lot of stupid stuff. Would he go that far? Who knows? If it wasn't Team BERINCHYK, it's not only messed up for KESHAWN, but for someone to allow BERINCHYK and his team and Krushak to get their names and reputations dragged through the mud, to be accused of trying to pull such a low-down stunt, It's messed up.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.
I feel great, myself, family. I feel I have to fight, to prepare, not more.
No more than 2.
Just 2.
Earlier today, Alexander Usyk was doing media, and he said he has 2 fights left, and he said that he's interested in fighting the winner of Daniel Dubois versus Joseph Parker, and then there's 1 fight left.
So Dubois defends his IBF title against Joseph Parker on the 22nd of this month. The winner will not likely fight Usyk until perhaps September, October 2025. And then Usyk will have 1 send-off fight after that, 2026. He's not going to have a fight in between the Dubois-Parker fight and himself fighting the winner. Now, they're speculating who the last opponent's going to be, but it's no point even speculating right now. There's a lot of fighting to be done before we talk about Usyk's last fight. And it's not guaranteed he wins against the winner of Dubois and Parker. It's not a guaranteed win. It's not nailed in as far as I'm concerned. So, basically, he could walk away from the sport 39 years of age next year with a mere 25 fights. But 14 of his fights so far have been in world title fights. Some may argue that number is not enough to compete with those who are in the 50 professional fight club, the 100, the 200 professional fight club all-time greats. Harry Greb, Henry Armstrong, Sugar Ray Robinson. Or is it just what we're talking about, quality of resume? Because the 3 fighters I mentioned there have multiple Hall of Fame wins on their record. Should there be a threshold in terms of a number, a minimum amount of fights you would need to have to be considered elite all-time great?
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.
Talking of the best fighting the very best, Jael Pataya, Zerdo Ramirez. Is that a fight you believe we have to see?
Absolutely. Obataya, he's a good champion. He was very impressive. And the fact that he's calling out Zurdo to unify the titles, I think that's what boxing's all about.
Would you like to see that fight, Oscar, perhaps on a Matchroom Golden Boy 5 versus 5 event?
Would be great. Would be pretty exciting for the boxing world to watch. Because Matchroom has great fighters. Golden Boy has great fighters. I think it'll be a match made in heaven.
And do you have a little message for Matchroom?
Matchroom, I am coming for you. Eddie, you have no chance.
Recently I've seen boxing channels, YouTube channels, I'm not going to name them, I did name them the other week, who were cheerleading for the PBC that the Benavidez Morel card was better than anything that RIYADH season had put on. Now what's my issue with that comment? Now you can cheerlead for the American brand, that's not a problem. But cheerleading for it when it's not competing, when the opportunities are there now to compete because the financial rewards are there now, doesn't make sense. Now, the Saudis, with their winner stays on almost boxing league structure, the 5 versus 5, Matchroom versus Queensbury. In the upcoming weeks, we've got 3 Matchroom Golden Boy fights. The first of them is Catterall versus Barboza, which is not directly a RIYADH season card, but it's a fight that may not have happened without the trickle-down effect of Golden Boy, Matchroom, Queensbury, and perhaps Top Rank, soon to be more permanent, on DAZN, all competing to put on the hottest cards and come out on top. Of course, the in-house cards are going to be the staple output per calendar year, but we know they're going to be pitting their fighters against the other promotional outlets on the platform. Now, if you get your Matchroom hat on for that, Catterall Barboza, Shakur Schofield, Virgil versus Madrimov, the tribalism is a healthy tribalism. It's sporting tribalism. There's actual tangible competition. If Golden Boy beat Matchroom 3-0 next week, it's going to be no different than when Queensbury beat Matchroom 10-0. Trending topic. But at least it wasn't what we've been seeing in boxing for so many years before the Saudis got here, where the Cold War politics just stopped fights happening, but you still got fanboys and sections of the media saying, well, it's better over here than it's better over there, when over here hasn't competed against over there. Now, when there's actual competition, it takes a lot of the toxicity out of the tribalism. The tribalism is good. It's good for the lifeblood of the sport. But if there's no competition there, it just becomes toxic. Like, for instance, the toxicity between the Anthony Joshua fan base and the Wilder fan base, it went on too long. If the fight actually happened, it would have settled the score between the two fighters. That's most important. And then the fans would have to get over it. Those on the losing side, you'd have to get over it at some stage. You'd have to accept your L. But when there's no fight, it just allows the toxic air just to linger. And that's no good. I could see a Matchroom 3-0 sweep. Jack Catterall outpointing Barboza. Shakur Stevenson putting the hands on Schofield. Virgil Ortiz versus Madrimov. It's a tough one. That's a tough one. I could see a 3-0 sweep for Matchroom, but I don't think that will happen. And even watching Oscar De La Hoya talk about these 3 fights, the animosity he had to Eddie Hearn has now changed from him doing stupid videos about Sky Nicholson and fuck Eddie, he needs to get out of America, and a lot of unnecessary stuff. The animosity's been replaced with a competitive, professional, we need to win attitude. Because he knows these fights are going to happen. Previously, when these promoters knew on occasion they might work with each other, but for the most part they're going to be left to their own devices on their side of the street. That's where the Cold Wars, that's where the cattiness starts, and it hasn't been good for boxing. That famous quote from Errol Spence, that you need to cross over to this side of the street, that era is slowly being phased out. And let's not just credit RIYADH season, let's credit DAZN for laying the foundation, encouraging promoters to work together.
And we have a new era in boxing.
Boxing
Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.